tries and reaches out to us. So very quickly, sorry, I can't turn on my video at this particular moment. I'm a little bit away, but I'll try and quickly take you through what we are supposed to be sharing this evening. So to the guests on the call, my name is Bugembe Andrew, and I'm privileged to be sharing with you this opportunity this evening. It was supposed to be Jesse Aineviona, but Jesse had a few issues along the way, and he's not been able to make it for our presentation just now. But kindly allow me to take you through the entire presentation, and then we shall invite a very wonderful gentleman a wonderful lady, who will be taking us through our story. So very quickly, I'm all the way from Uganda, Kampala. I'm husband to Janet and a father of one. I graduated as an electrical engineer, but later on also took on the law profession, but I'm a business person by choice. A few years back, I came across that wonderful group of people. They are called Neolife, the company. It's a very wonderful family I came across. I was just 20 years of age when I was first shown this wonderful group of people. I was looking for something to do part-time. I'd done a number of things, including trying to set up a video library, to trying to set up a loan kind of company that gives out loans, to a number of other things, but all in vain. So I remember when a friend of mine invited me over to come and look at this opportunity, I was looking for something that I could do in my free time to get me some extra income as I studied my electrical engineering degree. And that is when I was invited to come and look at this wonderful opportunity. Now, the Neolife opportunity has been around for a number of years now. It started all the way from California in the US, came to Africa some 50 years back, starting with South Africa, all the way to Namibia, Mozambique, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, and a number of West African countries. As a matter of fact, I know we have a number of people listening in from a number of these countries. I would like to welcome you. And I also know we have people listening in from Zambia. Would also like to welcome you. And just to say that, I don't know if it had not been for this opportunity, I don't know how some of us would be, but we're grateful to God that for the last 60 years plus, the company has been able to expand that far. And that is also mainly because of the values that we hold as a company, beginning with our mission to make the world a healthier and happier place. But we are led by these values: absolute integrity, people being number one, products that work, equal opportunity for all, and the long-range vision. These are values that have led us for the last 64 years, and Neolife continues to give us that kind of freedom and that kind of assurance that they will be here for the next number of years. We also say that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So when you partner with Neolife, at least you're assured of a product supply, products that are going to give you a very good base for business, like I'm going to share shortly. You are assured of getting support as far as finance is concerned. Technology-wise, there are apps, there's a website for you, the literature aids, there are sponsorships of sorts, ordering, all those things are catered for you. Your role basically is to share this opportunity and share the products to people who are ready to take them up. And just to go on to the products very quickly, what happens with our opportunities that you have a number of products out there that we are able to work with, beginning with the home care products, which are very versatile, economical, non-toxic, and biodegradable. These are products that have also stood the test of time because by the mere fact that you can be able to use them not only for one thing, but for a number of things, like the D1 laundry, which you would use for washing, the Super 10, which you would use for a number of surfaces around the house, the LDC, which you'd use in the kitchen, and the care that is a disinfectant. It makes it a lot easier for one to build their own business. We also have another product like we have the Super Grow, which is basically very key and important for the farmers. It's one of those products that helps so much. It conserves water in the soil and enables proper use of pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers. So a farmer is able to actually be able to have their crop yields maximized using that particular product. Then you have the Nutrients Organic, which basically caters for your skin, allows you to ensure that your skin is properly cleansed, it's properly exfoliated, it's properly moisturized, it's protected, and your cells are being renewed at a rate that is really helpful to you as an individual. Then you also have our healthcare products. We all believe that your health is your greatest wealth. I mean, without your health, there's little you can do with your life. And the story starts with exactly how you go through this life. You know, some of us, when you start out between 0 and 25, we are very, very vibrant. As we grow older, 25 to 50, we begin getting tired. 50 plus, we begin getting sick. But when you look at how the other graph goes by, the one in green especially, you can actually be able to live a very vibrant life and spend less time in the tired and sick zone. And in Neolife, for the last 64 years, we are saying that if you're getting enough rest, you're getting enough exercise, and you're taking care of your diet, you definitely can be able to live a very vibrant life. And of course, moving on there, you look at a question. This question really impacted me so many years ago. Why do we even eat food in the first place? Is it to live, L-I-V-E, or is it to live, L-E-A-V-E? Now, we say that right from the World Health Organization, a number of other scholars, we say that if you're looking at living, L-I-V-E, you at least need to be taking a lot of whole grain. You know, you're looking at whole wheat bread, brown rice, and the likes, oats. You're looking at a lot more of the fruits and vegetables, 5 to 13 servings of different fruits and vegetables, different colors. You're looking at less protein, and of course, less fats and sugars, proper ones, the healthy ones like the olive oil. But what most of us have done over the years is that we have turned that around, and many of us actually just eating to live. Why? Because of the so many fats and sugars that we are consuming. When you look at the white rice, the white bread, and the likes, from the chapati, you know, we all know what we consume on a daily. And we are saying that this is what exactly is causing the non-communicable diseases that some of us know as chronic diseases out there. A lot of the cancer, the diabetes, and the heart diseases, respiratory diseases are all because of how we have turned this round. You can imagine a number of people today with the kind of health issues they have. A number of those issues come from a bit of this pyramid and how it looks like right now. The fact that we are consuming a lot of fats and sugars. And what has now happened is that Neolife has come in to educate us and show us, for example, as far as the whole grain oils are concerned, whole grains, you'll get them from the oils, the lipids and sterols, you'll get them from the brown rice and the likes. And what those whole grain oils do is that they work with your cell membrane to ensure that the nutrients you're taking in from your food, whether it's lunch or breakfast or supper, get into your cells, produce energy, and the wastes get out. Yeah, but what many of us have done is that we have these unhealthy cells, and what now happens is that because we're not consuming enough of the whole grains, the brown rice and the likes, and that's mainly because of the processing, most of us, you will realize that if you are onto the white rice, it doesn't get bad. So because of the shelf life, wanting to preserve the shelf life or have a longer shelf life for some of this food, like the white bread and the white rice, you find that most of the lipids and sterols do not actually we don't get them enough food. So the whole grains, what they do is that they allow the nutrients to get in, the waste to get out. If you're not consuming them, the waste don't get in. Sorry, the nutrients don't get in, and neither do the wastes get out. So that's why a company introduces 3NN, which basically is there to enhance your energy, because once those nutrients are getting in and the wastes are getting out, you have a very good improved nutrient utilization efficiency by about 50%. Okay, and all the other categories have been totally covered for. If it's fruits and vegetables, we have carotenoid complex, which helps to boost your immunity. It has been proven to boost your immunity by 37% in 20 days. Every bottle comes with about 115 kgs worth of fruits and vegetables that has been used to make that bottle. You're looking at very good high quality protein, 22 amino acids, and you're looking at omega-3, which basically reduces your inflammation. It's the good fats that we pick up from different things in there. Okay, now, so the core nutrition that we are looking at right now, because we have a problem and we have a solution right here in Neolife. And we know the solution is to eat properly. And we know the problem we're facing is that we have this typical lifestyle pyramid we're experiencing. So what then happens is that Neolife has given us a core nutritional program to look at, and that is the Pro Vitality and the Neolife Shake, which basically covers that pyramid quite well. The other targeted solutions, like those for immunity, you'll see the zinc, the omega-3, the carotenoid, the OC. We have something for the children, and we also have a number of testimonies of people that have been able to experience these products and are now living a much better life. Right there on the left, we have a gentleman called Moses Nwabine, who has such a transformational story. A gentleman that before starting and looking at this opportunity, found himself HIV positive, but his wife negative and the 2 children negative. And after using our products together with his medication, the ARVs, he saw his CD4 count go up by quite a good amount. And today, he actually has another child after the doctors advised. His viral load detection was quite low, and they advised that they could actually have another child. Today he's living a life that is a lot better than the life he had before because of 3NN and carotenoid. On the right there, we have a lady who just turned 55. And you know what? She went on this weight loss journey, and today she looks a lot younger than she was probably at 45. So, I mean, the products are amazing, but we just use these products about to do business, so we can talk about business quickly, and then I'll invite our guests for the night. Now, I know many of us, as we leave school, I mean, as I left school, being an engineer, my expectation was to get a job and maybe work for some years, and then after that, become self-employed. But you know, the people that are in life who I want to be, most of them are business owners. Looking at how life is right now, the fact that we have a lot of the commodities like fuel and soap and the different things out there that we are buying, most of them have doubled the price. Of course, a lot of talk has been about the Ukraine war and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, what I've noticed from my few years, over the years, is that what happens, a lot of these things, a lot of these prices never come back down. People live in hope that maybe one day the prices will come back down, but that is not the case. They never come back down. Now, if you're a business owner, of course, one of the solutions you have is to increase your income so that you can afford whatever you want to afford. So as a business owner, you're able to do that because as a business owner, you're able to have a system that works for you. Of course, some people go on and become investors, and that's why you have money working for you. But ideally, you have to be on the right-hand side to be able to afford the kind of life you want to live in this day and age. And that is why, as an engineering graduate, I decided to take on a business. That is why, despite the fact that I've gone back to school and done a law degree, I still believe the way to go is to be in business. Because if you have a system that works for you, it's actually able to outlive you. It's something that you can be able to leave for your children, as opposed to the other options that are available to us. And maybe for some of us who are like me, you may not even know what a business is. A business is where you have a product or service, And at the end of the day, this product or service should move all the way to the consumer who is able to appreciate it. And if it's satisfying the need of this consumer, or if it is solving a problem of the person at the other end, the consumer, then you're going to be in business for a long time. And that is why Neolife, for us, has been around and continues to help people. And all you have to do is to actually have some kind of reason, because business owners and investors are motivated by their reasons for being in business. There's no boss to tell you clock in at this time and clock out at this time. There's no person watching over your head. What is happening is that you are self-motivated by the fact that there's something you want to achieve. Now, depending on what it is for you, mine was extra income, because as a student then, at the age of 20, I wanted some additional income. I wanted some $150 in addition to my future salary that I'd be able to get. And that is why I worked so hard. And others want to be their own bosses. I mean, I'm seeing that a lot with a lot of the younger people these days. Some people just want good health and well-being, more family time. That is also very critical today, because so many parents are so busy. Most of us are sometimes referred to as absent parents because we're so busy out there. If it's an asset, maybe it could be a piece of land or a very nice car that you want to have for yourself. Other people have to travel. I mean, that's their motivation. So depending on what exactly it is, even if it means to help others, what is important is that when you register and become an independent distributor with Neolife, it could cost you about between $50 and $100 to get your kit. But the moment you do these 3 daily success habits, you're able to see how the income begins to run up. And one of the first daily habits we tell you to do is to at least use the products. It's very important. When I started, I was very, very excited about the G1 laundry, the cleaning products, mainly because I was 20. I didn't see any reason for the healthcare products. But as I kept on advancing into life, I realized that the healthcare products were also or even not more important than any other products, because like I shared with you, health is your greatest wealth. And I began using them. I've seen my father get better from his health. I've seen my brother have his ulcers get sorted out. Our daughter has been using these products ever since she was 6 months in the mother's womb, and I've seen her greatly improve and greatly have a very wonderful kind of health. A lot of the children, as they go back home or as they go back to school, they get a lot of flus. I've seen her go through school from term to term without having to have those coughs and flus that put them down for such a long time. In fact, she does get sick, but you know what? When she gets sick, within a few days, she's back up and ready to run. So at the end of the day, it's important to use the products because that's the foundation. And the moment you've used the products, now you go ahead and you begin to share your product experience. And in that, you end up building a retail customer base. And as you tell more people to use the products, as you come up with those customers, the company is ready to reward you. It's able to give you a profit, you're able to earn a profit, and you're also able to earn a commission in addition to the profit. I remember, and then the first step, we have some titles we work with here. The first step is manager. And at the manager level, you are earning at about $50 a month. Then when you go ahead, you share the business experience, the opportunity with different people. And so to say that we do not actually get paid for bringing people. We get paid for getting people to use our products. So we can get people to use our products in 2 ways. They either become distributors and they also are able to get products from the company, like the way at the same price we are getting them at the company as distributors. Or if they're not interested in becoming distributors, then we can supply them those products as customers. So the moment you go ahead and you start building your team of product users and you continue to build the business and everything, you're able to duplicate yourself. You begin to earn slightly more, okay? You begin to earn slightly more. You are earning at least $100 to $250. And of course, you're a senior manager, executive manager. At that point, life is slightly better. I'm sure $250 can do something in your life. At least it can cater for the electricity bill or the water bill, whatever you might look at. But it's something that is additional. Remember, and I usually tell my friends that it doesn't matter where you are right now. You could be having a very good job, and that is fine. All of us need some extra income. It doesn't matter where you are. At the end of the day, if you can even start out with Neolife and it's your 10th additional income source, that is very fine, because at the end of the day, you want that additional income. So the moment you continue building the business and you are getting some personal development, which I think for me has been the greatest benefit I've got from this opportunity. I mean, I was able to graduate from the university with my engineering degree, but I could not start as a fresh graduate because of the 4 years that Neolife had been able to train me to become a lot better and a lot more of a person of value than usual. So as long as you continue building the business, you're helping other people become senior managers like you, you're going to become a director, you're looking at about $500 every single month. The moment you help some people around you become directors, this is also when you begin traveling. You're looking at least being the world team member, and you're looking at about $1,000 to $2,000 every single month. The moment you help some people become world team members just like you, you're looking at being a presence team member. Within 3 years from my starting this business, 2005 to 2008, I'd gone through all those steps to become a presence team member. I was in my 3rd year at the university, and I tell you, it was a difficult one to make a choice of, because by the time I graduated, I was graduating with quite a sum of income coming in from Neolife. It was actually difficult for me to make a decision not to work. But I remember someone made a statement and said, Andrew, in life, we don't eat titles, we eat money. It doesn't matter whether you're a chairman or whether you are a member of parliament or you are an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor. At the end of the day, it all goes down. Can you go to the shop and buy the milk? Because they will not ask you what your title is when you're buying the milk. They'll ask for money. So I decided to do this full time since 2009. It's been about how many years now? About 13 years since I started doing this business full time. So for the people on the call, it doesn't even end there. You have unlimited travel, you have unlimited lifestyle. And I think that's also one of the benefits that got me hooked onto this opportunity, because life is not all about work, 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 work. Life is about work, travel, family time, good health. It has all these things put in there. And Neolife allows you to enjoy life as you travel across the world. And since 2008, I'm very grateful to Neolife because it has allowed me to go to all those destinations, as you can see there. It has allowed me to reach out to a number of those areas, as you can see. If it was not for Neolife, being an engineer, being a lawyer, I don't think I would have been able to get to all those places. I really am grateful to God. In fact, actually, one of the reasons I can't put on the video right now is because we are on the move, and we just came back from picking up our visas in Spain, because in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be heading out to Barcelona. And it's all because of Neolife. And early this year, we're in Zimbabwe, Durban, where Dr. Eseza, who is on the call and is going to be sharing with us briefly, how she has been able to benefit from the business. But we're with her in Zimbabwe, Durban, her hometown, and I mean, it's just exciting. So if you're on the call and you're looking at an opportunity that is going to change your life, Neolife is that opportunity. And I believe if it has happened for a number of people out there, it can definitely also happen for you. So allow me at this juncture to please invite on the call a lady that has totally changed all of our lives. She's one of those ladies that started this opportunity about 27 years ago. I was probably my primary 5 when when she started the opportunity. And guess what? If it had not been for her, maybe I would also not be here. Yeah, but she's such a wonderful lady. She's a doctor by profession. She's a mother of very wonderful children, and she's also a grandmother. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, Dr. Eseza, but she's also a grandmother, and at her age, I mean, she looks just fantastic. So thank you very much, Dr. Eseza, for giving us your time. Please take it away. I'll just stop the sharing right now. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity and privilege to speak to so many people. Oh my goodness, it's almost 100 people on the call. And it's always a pleasure to share with all of you. I'm often shy to talk about my story. So if it sounds skimpy, that's because I've cut out a lot of parts. I may be wired that way, but I'll try my best. Okay, as you've heard, my name is Eseza Nambassi, and I am married to my sweetheart. His name is Edward Nambassi. We are both medical doctors. We met at medical school at Makerere. I was in my undergraduate. He had come back to do his postgraduate. And yeah, we sort of hit it off. And then a lot of things happened in Uganda at that time. That was the year 1985, when there was a lot of changes in the governments, and there were military coups and things like that. So because earlier in my life, I had had an opportunity to live outside the country in a situation that we call exile, unfortunately, again, because of all the challenges that Uganda went through. Yes, I had lived in Kenya, where I went to school. I did my O-level year and the A-levels in Kenya, but was able to come back in time to do my medical education, because there was miraculously 5 years exactly of peace and quiet. So when all this trouble brewed again, I just looked at Dr. Nambassi, my husband. He wasn't quite my husband yet, but we got married shortly after that. And I said, I'm not going to stay here. Are you staying here? And as they say, we started on a trek from Uganda through part of Kenya, through Tanzania. It was a very exciting trip. And from Dar es Salaam to Zambia by the Tazara. There's somebody on this call right now, I know, my sister, she was with us as we were going out to look for places where we could live. And literally, it was just us, our little suitcases, and our certificates. My sister, who's on the call now, is qualified as a teacher, and we finished university at the same time. So yeah, we arrived in Zambia, and for all you Zambians on the call, that's why I love Zambia, because I lived there and we worked. We were very happy. We were young, we were free. We really had no care in the world. I remember we lived on the copper belt, and we enjoyed things like playing squash. And I was actually in the little town that we lived in called Ndola. It's not actually very little, it's a big town. We used to go and play squash in the various copper belt towns at tournament level, and as we worked as well. And so it was a good life. However, in the year 1987, I got my first baby towards the end of the year. So life changed dramatically. And I started seeing that, hey, I'm no longer just me. I have responsibility. And at that juncture, we opted to come down further south. And one could say that was crazy, because at that time in 1988, South Africa was literally on, I would say it was very, very volatile, in that, yeah, there was a lot happening. in South Africa. And so, well, we came down, we went to one of the homelands called Transkei. And I think that was perhaps the hardest period in my entire adult life. We arrived when I was 20 something, towards my very end of the 20s. But we settled down. We got on with what we had to do. We were both employed as doctors, and we just knuckled down to work. But I was always dissatisfied. And I'll just take you back to what I was dissatisfied about. How I got into medical school was because I was enrolled. I was literally recruited into medical school. You know, it was a case of saying, here she is, clearly good marks. We need doctors. And so off to medical school she goes. But there was this toss-up between me going to medical school or me literally looking for the money to go to the UK, because there were 5 universities in the UK that said, come, please come. But anyway, it wasn't to be, so I went through medical school, arrived, worked in South Africa in a very small hospital, quite a new hospital, where my husband and I made up 50% of the hospital doctor staff. So 2 doctors for the price of 1 was what that hospital got out of us. But anyway, I had my second baby in the year 1990. He's now 32 years old. And for the Namibians on call, he's actually just got back from Namibia last week. And yeah, so here I am, 2 babies. But the shock of it was that in those days, there was no maternity leave for mothers who thought that they could work and have a family at the same time. So in a very short time, I had to go back to work. In fact, let me tell you how short. 17 days after I had my baby, I had to get back to work. And so that was actually quite traumatic. And I'm giving you this background because I want you to understand why I was looking for an opportunity. It wasn't that I didn't need an opportunity or anything like that. I actually was looking actively. And for many reasons, granted, we were being paid a salary, but I thought to myself, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I can't sit in a little room waiting for sick people to arrive for me to write a prescription for them, or for me to go to theater and sort them out and all that. I just felt, I'm not quite wired that way. Anyway, so we worked until I got so dissatisfied with the status quo that one day I just told my husband that I'm jumping into this car. I'm going to drive from this little village and into a city, and the city was called East London, and I'm going to look for a job. I'm going to look for us to move out of this little town. I think that was one of the beginnings of a series of the best things that have happened in my life, because yes, we arrived in East London. It's a small city, but it is a city nevertheless. And we could get involved in the life of the city. I could get the children, by then I had 2, into proper schools, which I should have mentioned that while we're in that little village in the Transkei, I actually had to start a school to which I could send my kids. So yes, we got integrated, we met other people, and we settled down. And as we settled, I started looking for a place where we could go for church. And it was there that, as you know, you introduce yourselves, somebody picked up my name. A few days later, I get this phone call, and it went something like, if I were to show you a way to make an extra income, would you have a look? And okay, here I am, mother of 2 young children, doing calls, running up and down to keep a household running, a job running, a husband happy. And we've moved into a city, there are overheads, obviously. I could have said, I have no time. I am sorry, I am busy. But I didn't say that. Praise God for that. I said, yes, what is it? Is it legal? And the gentleman said, yeah, I'll come and show you. So he arrived at our house one evening. He made sure that both of us were home. And I thought he was going to sit down and say, now you must do this and you must do that and you must, I'm going to show you how to make an extra income. He asked, what is your dream? And I said, hey, wait a minute. You said you were coming to show us. Anyway, we became polite and we said our dreams. And suddenly, all those dreams that I had had as a young lady, as a girl, came to the surface. They started bubbling over. I want to travel. I want to see the whole world. I want, now that I'm a mother, to put these children through the best schools. I just want all those things. But as a medical doctor, I don't know whether I'll ever be able to do them, because first of all, this job that we are doing, I wish I could be doing something else, But he said, okay, you sound like you really have a vision and a dream. Thursday, there's going to be a presentation. Dress smart and for business, come and have a look. Meanwhile, what I had decided to do up to that point was to educate myself as regards how to best keep my children healthy. And one thing that had been alarming me increasingly were the cleaning products that we were buying from the shops. I started very early reading labels, and that's because way back in medical school, I'd had a lot of altercations with the people who taught us pharmacology. And it was from then that I had learned to read labels and packet inserts and read around medications, and just found that, hey, there are lots of toxins that we are being exposed to. So I became quite fanatical, if you want to call it that. I didn't want to expose us, especially my children, to toxins. But children will be children. They'll develop eczema. They'll develop little things like that. And I had noticed that that's what they were developing. So the temptation was always, put them on medication. Doc, you know what to do. You went to medical school. You should know these things. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Thank you. I'm going to look. I'm going to see what I can change. And that's how I got to get super, super excited when at this presentation on the display were cleaning products. And the gentleman was describing them and saying, if you use these cleaning products, they are totally economical, totally non-toxic, very, very efficient, very effective, and they are 100% biodegradable. Now, being medically trained, all those attributes were so appealing that the first thing I did was to get started. And being a good African wife, I told my husband, who was a bit skeptical, I must say, on his behalf. I said, listen, we're doing this together because they said we can, and I'm going to put your name first, because it is never Mrs. and Mr., it is Mr. and Mrs. So your name comes first, mine will come after yours. I remember that was such a hilarious debate, but we had that debate and I won. So we got started. And then as soon as I got my kit, I went through my whole cupboard. I actually took 2 days leave to get started with my business. And I discarded, as in threw out, everything that we had bought from the supermarket. I threw them all out. I just got a big box and a few black bags and filled them as I wrote a list of what Neolife could replace and got started. And so for the first 6 months, that was March, for between March and September, I was studying. I was attending training. We used to have Monday evening training. I was just learning as much as I could and checking out that these products actually work. And praise God for the way we used to start with the kits. That actually is an Eagle team introduction to the whole business. We started with kits very much like today, and we would have what we today call a healthy home kit, which had a NutriShake, it had Formula 4 Plus, it had an aloe vera gel, it had Super 10 and LDC and lots of literature. So we started with that kit. So I had no choice but to try out these nutrition supplements, you know. And I had thought to myself that we are eating as well as we could. But the amazing and most astounding thing was the amount of energy that we were able to get. In those pre-Neolife, we would come back from work, dog tired, and we had to carry on with whatever we had to do, make supper, do the homework for the kids and all that with the kids. So energy levels came up, my kids became healthy, all the allergies and asthma disappeared. I was extremely satisfied with the cleaning products. So by September, 6 months later, I knew that there was no way I would ever go back to my old life. And in that month, in September, we had the president of the company come through to East London. And so I said to him, Mr. President, his name was Roger Ace, let's take this opportunity to Uganda. And he said, no, we're not there yet. I said, I know. That's why I said, let us take this opportunity to Uganda. And I said to him that, listen, in Uganda, if we start there, it will spread to the surrounding countries. And he looked at me and he said, young lady, if you have any more bright ideas, here's my card. Give me a call. I'm going back to Johannesburg. There's no time to discuss this. So I thought to myself, oh, wow, okay. So I kept his card. And then come, I think it was January, we had an Eagle team function. And I said to Mike van Deventer, many of you know Mike. Mike, let's go to Uganda. Let's go to Uganda. Let's go to Uganda. January didn't work. Then April, I repeated the story. Let us go to Uganda, please. And all sorts of stories happened. But by July, it was urgent. And why it was urgent was because Dr. Nambassi, my husband, was going to the UK for a bit. So I told him, okay, hold on. Before you go, I will go to Uganda. Now, fortunately, you know, God's timing is impeccable. Mr. Sam Kanakuria had been to South Africa and had seen the opportunity through somebody that was in my downline in South Africa. And so she invited me to say, come and show him. And he's got started and we opened his kit. He sometimes tells the story, I don't know whether he's on the call today. He tells the story of how we sat down on the carpet to get him started. Yes, that is true. We sat on the carpet and opened his kit. So he went ahead, and between him and us, we were busy trying to get Mike into Uganda. We succeeded. We met him at the airport. And I think, you know, people who are pioneering something for the first time will always wonder, hey, will this work? Well, we just told him, have faith. Look who's talking. Anyway, the company wasn't in Uganda yet, but because of the goodwill and the enthusiasm that had been whipped up, I went ahead of Mike. We met him at the airport about a week and a half later, and he was so shocked at the numbers of people just waiting for the opportunity, for a company that they believed would change their lives, which is true. Because I remember at one of those first meetings, I stood up there and I said, my fellow dear Ugandans, we are here with this opportunity. As they say, if you give a man a fish, he will eat for one day. But if you show him how to fish, he will be able to sustain himself for a lifetime. Now, that is what we are bringing to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a huge lake. It's going to be a sea. You know, I was painting this amazing picture of what I wanted to see. And that went a long way for me to heal me from a lot of the emotional trauma that I had suffered through leaving the country in the 80s and prior to that in the 70s when we first lived in exile. So I was very, very encouraged, and to this day, I'm so grateful that through this opportunity, I have met amazing people. I'll never forget the testimony that Andrew has given about Moses. Moses once met me just days into getting started in the opportunity. He wanted a guarantee. And he said, I want you to promise me that these products will change my life. I met him at the Neolife center. And I said, yeah, they will change your life. Okay, so why have I taken this route as a medical doctor? Why am I not like everybody else? You know, the thing is, I always feel slightly upset when the world has the audacity to call what we do as alternative. It is not alternative. It is the so-called conventional medicine that is alternative. And that's why I was arguing with professors in medical school as they taught us pharmacology. I was saying that if we carry on like that, we're going to kill people's kidneys and other organs because these are chemicals. I hope you can agree with me. It is about 40 years later that I was speaking like that in medical school. That is indeed what we are seeing today. And I don't want to go into that too much because I become very, very emotional. But the tipping point was when a brother-in-law of mine passed away from kidney failure following many years on medication for high blood pressure. And I remember those are the first people that I wanted us to give the opportunity to in Uganda. But you know, I'm a sister-in-law at the time. His doctor said, and my doctor has said, and I'm sure many of you have heard that. So that is why I am very, very passionate and very intentional. And the good news now is that this has given me my dream career that I wanted to do long time ago. And that is to make sure that everybody just knows their responsibility to themselves, how to be healthy and how to be fit and how to be wise and how to pass that on to their children and their children's children. So yes, as Andrew has said, I am a mother of 3 now. I had my third baby, who is now in her mid-20s, when independence in South Africa happened. And my husband obviously had come back from the UK. And I said to myself, I'm now going to have a baby. And again, mainstream doctors said, are you crazy? Don't you know you're too old? I said, who, me? Old? No, I'm going to have a baby. And sure enough, I had a baby. And the difference between my third baby, when I was heading towards 40 years old, and my first baby, when I was about 27, is stark, is different. Because in pregnancy, at I think I was 38, I was energetic. I did not have blood pressure problems. My feet did not swell. I was driving. I remember we drove to Swaziland and all over the place. And when I contrasted to my first 2 pregnancies, it was chalk and cheese. And I have been able to maintain my health thanks to these products and thanks to all the research that has gone on. We don't need to reinvent anything, basically because these are products that God made, okay? They are what we are supposed to be having in us, as opposed to chemicals. So I really want to acknowledge the entire Neolife setup, all the way from Jerry for this opportunity. I want to acknowledge Charlie and Alta. You know, Charlie is an amazing person. He just picks up the phone and calls me for a chat. He's that kind of person. And we have seen the Eagle team and a lot of people prosper thanks to Charlie and Alta. Obviously, Mike for at last saying, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. And as a result, he loves Uganda and Kenya and East Africa with a passion. I also want to say to all the people who are in our team and our downline, don't despair. I'm so happy that you are taking those steps, and many of you are even way ahead of us. And you must, many of you have asked me, why don't you, how come you're not where we are? We are coming, we are coming. My vision now is to develop 4 directors in the next 2 years. And so I am actually reframing my whole business, and just watch this space. That's all I can say to you, watch this space. And on that one, I just want to say something about the value of being teachable. I have had to subject myself on several occasions to coaching. I personally now am a health coach, and that's what I love to do. But there are other things that I need to be coached in, such as business building. And Andrew is amazing. And I just want to say specifically, thank you, Andrew, for all the coaching that you give us. And recently I met another type of coach. Wow. So she's not in the business yet, but I'm hopeful that she will be. And she and I are chatting about something that we are going to do together very soon. So I'm redesigning my business right now. It might cost me a little bit, that's fine. But in the long run, we are all working together to make the world healthier and happier. And hence my brand, which is Simply Healthier. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to knowing that all of us will be enjoying greater health and seeing more of the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Eseza. Thank you so much for the wonderful story you have shared with us right now. We continue to pray the Almighty Father that will keep you safe for us. Dr. Eseza does very, very wonderful product sessions every Tuesday evening. The guests, you'll be able to access all that information when you become a part of this wonderful opportunity. In conclusion, what do you need to get this business running? Please turn to the person who invited you onto the call. Let them give you that form. You just need less than $100 to get started. You'll get the products at the company price, or at least you'll be able to access the products from the company at the price that we, the distributors, do get them at. And then the other thing is that you must have a reason, like we shared quite earlier, have a reason for building this business. And the moment you have those two in place, then you're ready to go. Will you meet some challenges along the way? Of course, there is no business that does not have challenges. Every business has some form of challenge. And I know when I started, a lot of my friends, my relatives, my very own parents were not that positive about the business. But guess what? So many years down the road, the life is a lot better, they're a lot healthier, they're also happier because of this wonderful opportunity. So just get started. The people that are not yet on board will come on board eventually. Then last but not least, which is tied up to everything, is to take the action. My friends, when I started many years ago, a lot of my friends used to ask me, Andre, whole engineer, you're selling soap. But you know, like I mentioned, we don't eat titles, we eat money. At the end of the day, if it's putting, you know, something on the table, guess what? Take it up. And just like I mentioned earlier, for many of us who are corporates and you're working somewhere, don't try and do this business when it's a little too late, when you want and looking for retirement packages and seeing how you can work with your retirement package. Start now so that by the time you are 5-10 years down the road, this business, I can guarantee you will be paying you a substantial income that you can be able to live off. I have seen that over and over and over again. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in this evening. May God bless you and have a very wonderful week ahead. Thank you again, Dr. Eseza, for your story. We do appreciate you and we love you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you very, very much. And yeah, to the new people, get started. We are a family that welcomes you, and we look forward to seeing you grow. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Paul.